What's up, everybody? So on today's segment of Live Big, we will be discussing 3 things that you need to make sure you do in order for you to live big in the dating arena. This is so critical, very important. Hopefully you guys will subscribe to this broadcast. Subscribe right now to this channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that you know when we're going on every single week, at least twice a week, to make sure that we give you tips on how you can live big.
If you find the one, you should never give her up. I think it's the way life changes when in love.
All right. So as we discuss dating and things that you do need to make sure you do before you get back into the dating world, I'm telling you, this is critical information. Let's kick it off with number 1. All right, guys, so let's discuss number 1. Before you get back into the dating scene in 2020, in a double-digit world, the number 1 thing you need to do is make sure that you detox. So at the beginning of every year, a lot of people, even at the beginning of some months, some cultures detox like every month. But at the beginning of the year, a lot of people buy a detox, and it is something, sometimes it looks green, it looks disgusting. I have a friend, she's faithful to it, and it keeps you in the bathroom. Sometimes before you go to get a colonoscopy or some other things, they want to make sure that all of the excess weight and all of the excess waste that's on the inside of you is cleaned out of you before something, a procedure or something can take place. It's the same with the detox. You've got to make sure in the area of dating that you take the time to detox from your previous relationships. So let's talk about detox and what that looks like. Detox is ugly. Detox does not need to be done in the presence of other people. Friend, she talking good. And by she, y'all know I mean me. Detox sometimes has to be done in private. This might not be the season for you to be surrounded by a bunch of people. This might be the season for you to sit down somewhere and detox. Did you know that a lot of times the detox, if you drink it, it keeps you on the toilet? It's ugly, friends. It doesn't smell good. It gets rid of all of the stuff that you don't need. And you're going to mess around and find yourself constipated. Oh, I'm using some radical terminology. But you're going to find yourself stopped up where love and other things can't flow because you're packing in the garbage and the dirt and the junk from previous relationships. And I know some of you say, oh, I need to call my single girlfriend. No, you, my married friend. Sometimes in marriage, you need to detox. I ain't telling you to leave nobody. I am telling you that you might need to set aside some time to journal. You might need some counseling. I did say it. You might need some help because you might have literally left one bad relationship and gone into the next. Y'all, I remember kind of looking at my life and looking at the scene, and it always seemed to be the same scene, different face, different name, but same characteristics and same traits. And I said, Lord, what is it? He said, Ashley, you need to detox. You need to get rid of those things, those impurities that keep blocking the flow of what I want to do in your life. And so I'm telling every single person, before you decide to be great in 2020, and this is your year of the fantabuloso, and you're going to have a supercalifragilistic, expialidocious kind of year, I want to make sure that you, my friend, take the time to detox. It might be ugly. You might have to do it alone, but friend, when I tell you, it'll be worth it. Are we ready for number 2? The first thing we said with number 1 was you need to make sure that before you start dating in this double-digit world and you living big and living your best life, you need to make sure that you detox. But now let's talk about number 2. Number 2, you need to make sure, and I mean this supernaturally, emphatically, you need to make sure that you starve what you don't want to grow. I'm going to give myself a round of applause right there. You got to stop feeding what you don't want to grow. What do I mean by that? if you look and do some research, that there are certain things that are linked between what we eat and disease and allergens and things like that that can attempt to store up in bodies. And they'll tell you that certain junk foods, certain sugars, certain things attract different ailments and diseases in your body. Woo! This is blessing me. I want you guys to know that it's the same in the area of relationships and dating. Sometimes you got to get off of the sweet stuff that don't have no fluff. What do I mean? You got to stop dating the people that don't have any character. You might, my friend, you might need to stop feeding what you don't want to grow. And you said, that's right. I need to send this to my boyfriend. That's right. I need to send this to my boo. Friend, this for you. I said it. Friend, this is for you. You might need to stop feeding that need that you have to have your self-esteem fed. So you didn't know that was coming. By you doing and putting yourself in positions in the dating world that, friends, is not paying off for you. How's it been working for you? See, these are questions that I've asked myself. How is what you did in the last season? How did that work out for you? Friend, I'm telling you that the supernatural healing of God came in my life when I did what number 2 said. I decided to stop feeding what I didn't want to grow. So there are certain mindsets. There are certain things, generational things that maybe your mom did or your grandmother did or your aunt did, or maybe some of your friends did. And you found yourself following and walking in their footsteps. Can I tell you something? If you don't want it to grow, stop feeding it. Let's talk about dating. Some of you are already in relationships right now. And because of an unhealthy need for companionship, you're taking and feeding things that you don't want to grow. Give me an example. She sure will. An example would be you're tolerating behaviors and cycles that you know are not just a detriment to you now, but they are nowhere close to what you want to see in your future. Friend, why do you keep feeding something that does not possess the capacity to feed you? If you don't want it to grow, stop feeding it. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this relationship. Stop feeding it. Friend, tip number 2, if you don't want it to win, let it get thin. I'll be right back with tip number 3. Hey! Tip number 1 was detox. Tip number 2, what was it, y'all? Tip number 2 was you might just want to stop feeding what you don't want to grow. That was good, y'all. That was Campbell's soup good. And tip number 3. We're talking today, for those of you that might just be joining us, hit the subscribe button if you've been enjoying this channel, and the notification bell if you want to know when the next episode is going to be coming out of Live Big. I want to make sure that we include you in on every single show. So back to tip number 3. Tip number 3 is, friends, you need to dry out. I wish I had somebody playing like a keyboard or something behind me to get the crowd hype. You might need to dry out. I know this is not popular. You might need to take a break. I had to whisper it. You might need to get everybody off the team. You might need to get somewhere and sit down. You might need to take some time. I'm telling you, it works. Take some time and dry out. Go through it, do the work. And for somebody that's a professional coach, and I have life coaching, if you want coaching information, go to my website listed below. I love to have you as my client. But for those of us that are in the coaching world and the counseling world, it's so important for you to take the time to dry out. Literally, you need to take an opportunity where it is all things about you. Rediscover you. Some of you don't even know what your favorite color is. Whatever your color is, this is not coming to America. Whatever you like. What do you want to do? Whatever you like. She had been brainwashed. Woo! Even though I love it. What's up, Eddie? She had been brainwashed that it was all about, in order for her to be marriage material, she had been brainwashed that it had to be whatever you like. Friends, some of you don't even know your favorite restaurant. If it's time to go to the movie, whatever movie you want to go to. What do you want to eat? Wherever you want to go. What? What in the come and go gas station is going on, friends? It's time for you to take a break. Rediscover you. Dry out. Take a break. Let everybody know. Let's practice. Okay, I feel like we need a script. Okay, here's our script. Okay, you the person. I'm gonna be me. Right now, this is just not working for me. It's not you. It's me. Wait, is that too common? Okay, let's try it. I really just want to focus on my ministry right now. Let me stop lying. We're not chemically compatible. You crazy. Y'all pray for me. But on a serious tip, listen, I want you guys to make sure that you subscribe. If you're enjoying, y'all, I just got to be myself no matter what. If you're enjoying what we need to do, 3 things that we need to do before we get back in the dating world, and how can you date big in a double-digit world? 3 things that you need to do before you get back on the dating scene. All right, you guys. So let's kind of talk about a wrap-up. Soon, y'all, I already see like a DJ beside me as I do these YouTube things. I need like a little record scratching right there. So let's just do a recap and a review. All right, so number 1, you need the detox. And we kind of discussed that in a little bit of detail. It might be ugly. You might have to be by yourself. It might stink. You may not enjoy it. It might literally be a few months of just an ugly process for you to get rid of all of the baggage and impurities. You might want to make a list. That might be something that you can do. Make a list of all of the areas that you want to see yourself develop and grow. And every week or every month for 6 months to a year, make it intentional and take the time to detox. Number 2, you need to stop feeding what you don't want to grow. And if you've got some insecurities, that's something you can work on with tip number 1. But if you've got some areas of vulnerability, if you've got some areas where you got some character flaws or some integrity issues in your relationship, don't feed those things. So if you've got to have somebody to constantly validate you, spend some time in a season journaling to make sure that you can learn how to validate from within. I truly believe you win from within. That is tip number 2. All right, so our final tip was you might need to dry out. Take some time off from the dating scene. Friend, I know you're great in 2020. I know you are. I mean, I know it. Some of you in a row 20 things that you're going to change. All of that is great. But I want to tell you, you might need to dry out. You might need to not be the starter right now. You might need to just take a sabbatical. You might need to sit on the bench. You might need to put some do not disturbs on and really take the time to discover how amazing you really are. Go, y'all. You're amazing. Go, y'all. You're amazing. What's up? Hey, everybody. Hopefully you have enjoyed our segment of Live Big. I'm Ashley Johnson Cross, reminding you that you can live big every single day in a double-digit world. So I want you to know you are an amazing soul. And so right now, I'm going to give a shameless plug to my new journal. It's probably almost 200 pages of content tailor-made just for you. You are an amazing soul, and an acronym for it is YES. Y'all see that? That was like an intentional slow motion moment. You are an amazing soul, and you might need to take the time before you start dating again to discover you. Trust and believe. I am living proof. When you take the time to detox, when you stop feeding what's not feeding you, or stop feeding what's unhealthy, when you starve those things, and finally, when you take some time to just dry out, you really will discover exactly how amazing you are. Y'all, I love you. And remember, whatever you're going to do, you might as well do it big. See y'all next time.